Okay. YouTube says I'm going live. YouTube says I'm live. So, hello. Welcome to the stream. So, I was looking through the This Week in Bevy, and there's a new crate that's come out, or I don't know if it's new, but they talked about it in here somewhere. It's the unless I'm on the wrong week. I'm probably on the wrong week. Yeah. Anyway, so I was looking at the This Week in Bevy newsletter, and they talked about the new Quill plugin, and I decided that it looked interesting enough to try and see what I can pull off in terms of learning it for the Bevy Jam, and also including it in my Pong series, because it's always super important to have like a nice UI library, and Bevy's built-in UI stuff is quite lacking. UI, I don't know why my streaming setup says I'm not sending data, but anyway, I can hear myself on the stream, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Anyway, so Bevy's UI is lacking, and then I've done a video before talking about Belly, which was like a HTML style of loading and creating UI in Bevy, and it worked really well, but sadly the creator is no longer maintaining that up to modern versions. Like, people are community like contributing and keeping it up to date, but it tends to be a few months behind in terms of when it comes out versus when the new release of Bevy comes out. So Quill seems to be up to date, and so hopefully it's worked on by the original creators so that they'll actually keep it like up to date with the new versions. So if I go to my project, which I have too many open, 0 to Pong, I just knocked together the example to make the thumbnail for this stream, just so I could have it going early. So it does seem to be just absolutely spamming the shit out of arbitrary. Yeah, okay, so I think that's because there's 2 cameras loaded. But as you can see, like, they've got all the default buttons. This is just like their example of what buttons look like and the different sizes. And it seems fairly straightforward to make this stuff, so I was just going to look through it and see if I can make like a nice looking UI in order to, then make my video around the next part of the series. So somewhere down here, we're obviously spawning a camera. Ah, right, it's here. Spawning 2D. Camera 2D bundle. Why is it a camera 2D? Oh, I've also got myself an energy drink just so that I can stay awake. I wanted to do that on stream last time. I had an energy drink, but I forgot. I opened it before the stream. But I just need energy drinks because I come off work to do these streams. Like, we finish at lunchtime, and then I start the stream at like 1:30, which means that I'm usually dead tired by the end of the stream, and it's only like been 2 hours, so I need something to keep me awake. Anyway, so it seems to be spawning a 2D camera, which is interesting. But if I turn this off, like camera default and camera 2D. Oh, it needs to know where the camera is to spawn the bundle. Okay, how do I get rid of the ambiguity to fix this? Ensure that there is exactly one camera entity spawned with a given. Okay, so can I just say that your order is on top? Order? Where's the order though? Some normalized window index. Okay. So to ensure that there is exactly one camera spawn with a given order for the given render target. Ambiguity should be resolved either by multiple active cameras were spawned accidentally, which will result in rendering multiple instances of the scene, or 2, for cases with multiple cameras is intentional. Ambiguity could be resolved. But how do I specify? Because changing the fucking Z, I was going to think like put it on a different layer, but that's not going to help. I don't know how I change the ambiguity. Like, how do I? It's for a given render target. Camera render graph. Okay, and then that's just, is it just a render graph? No, it's called a camera render graph. It's got one field. No, so that's not going to work. Could it possibly be that the camera has some kind of order? -1. And then default everything else. So that should remove the ambiguity because they're not on the same order anymore. This is order -1. So the UI will be rendered first, I assume, because it's -1. Not 100% on that one, but we'll find out. So yeah, so the buttons are rendered behind the UI, but is it still spamming my... No, okay, the console's clean now. So then when we click the buttons, they say clicked. Yay, okay. That's working lovely. So that was my test one, like where I just copy pasted their example code. So I guess what we need to do is split off a module and say like mod game and move all of this shit, just A, C, and move it all into game, V. And then we go up to the top here and we say, get rid of these modules because it's not a thing. I'm thinking we want to probably turn this into a plugin for one. So we need a plugin. And this is going to be game plugin. So this is going to be like me exploring the new Bevy stuff because I want to make, I think it's a system parameter or a system set. As a derived state or whatever, that, or calculator state. I forget what they called it in the new version of Bevy. That means that like you can say like there's an in-game state that certain states can register themselves as being part of, and then there's also going to be like a different thing. So that we need to say that this stuff's all going to be added by the actual main. So it's delete anything here that's not related to specifically this. So this is UI related. So don't do that. So initializing the score, I think that'll be a game related thing. App insert resource. Okay, so initializing rapier, that'll be a game thing. Adding rapier. Oh, why am I deleting it if it's a game thing then? Okay, initialize that game events, startup, update. These are all game events. Okay, so then we're just going to copy all of this. I'm going to paste this all in here, and we get rid of the main row. Here. Okay, and that should make all that good again. And then we go to main here, and we just scroll down. We're going to go clear all this up to just under here. So then we need to clear all of this. We need to keep that bit for UI and keep run. So this can all go like so. We'll save these plugins for later, but we're going to go app.add plugins game plugins. So what this is going to do is basically just do everything we were doing normally, but keep our main file here clean so that it's easier to find things because we go like it's either in game or it's in main. This should still run all the same. It may have issues because this stuff's loaded after, but it shouldn't because I think it's all menu. The menu stuff's going to obviously disappear because I'm no longer loading the menu, but everything still works the same. I don't remember if I pulled the pull request. Someone changed this to be a grid and made it like way better with some git commits. So way better now. Like it expands uniformly. So if it grows, it's like the if it gets like one's 2 digits, it'll have the other one in the middle as 2 digits still. Well, not as 2 digits. It's a single digit, but in a space for 2 digits, so that instead of like it growing asynchronously. So that's nice. It's probably not worth waiting for it to do. We need to feel like app.menu add plugins. We'll add the menu plugins. So there's going to be menu menu plugin. Also, you'll probably see on the screen, I've got in the corner, it says revoke miniature world for the Bevy gem. I think that's what it says. The only reason I've got that is I've got a really good idea for a game that I want to do for the gem, but I will have to modify my idea to fit whatever the theme is. And if miniature worlds wins, then I've just got an idea that'll just work with that theme. So I'm not working on the game until after the theme's announced, but I just like have an idea of like what like a concept that I think would work really cool for the game jam, and be an idea that can be put forward in the amount of time we have to actually be like a feasible game, instead of just this would be a cool thing if we could get it done. But it's like this should only take like an afternoon to get the core gameplay loop working, and then just polish it for the rest of the game jam. Anyway, we have to get this menu going, so we're going to go plugin. This is going to be menu plugin. And then in build here, we're going to say, do that. So we need to add that system. And then we need to also say, add the corresponding plugins as well. So copy that from main as well. So did I? Oh no, I overwrit them. God damn it. So, add plugins. We need to add the plugins, and it's the Quill. Is it Bevy Quill? I think it's Bevy Quill. Bevy Quill. Quill plugin. Bevy Quill Obsidian. So if you don't know how it works, from what I understand, Bevy Quill is the actual UI plugin, and it says on their GitHub page that they're unopinionated, which means that the Quill plugin doesn't like tell you how your UI should work. It just gives you the tools to make your own UI. But they also provide Bevy Quill Obsidian, which is an opinionated one, as in they have a particular like a specific way that they reckon that your UI should be laid out, like how they implement things. And that's like, so they have buttons, and the buttons look a particular way because of that's the style of Obsidian. Whereas if you wanted to make your own unique style, you would just use Quill, and then you wouldn't use Obsidian, because Obsidian's specifically like tailored to doing things. But you'd have to make everything yourself, whereas Obsidian has pre-built buttons, Quill doesn't. So it's just sort of a way of splitting the crates up. And then it's also like, I think it's Bevy mod picking, default picking plugin. And the default picking plugin is used by Obsidian to determine mouse clicks, I think is how that works. I'm not 100%. So apparently we don't need all this because we imported it in here. So we import the preload. And we import the Quill. We get away with that. Right. So now when we hit run again, it should all work exactly the same. Alright, people have also been saying I should stop this ball from spinning, because apparently you can get stuck, because if the ball's spinning a particular way and you move it into it in a particular other way, it like stops it like from having any momentum, and the ball will just bounce up and down forever because it's not moving forward or backwards. So I'm thinking we'll just lock the momentum, because they said that they did it by removing all friction. They disabled friction, but disabling friction to me is not the best approach, because disabling friction like has the side effect of you can no longer nudge the ball by moving up when you hit the ball, because the ball will have no friction. It'll just bounce off. It won't get pushed by you. Though maybe that's not how it works. We're just going to quickly fix that. So we're going to go to game, and we'll come down to maybe spawn player. No, it's to spawn the ball. Spawn, move paddle, spawn ball. Down here inside the ball, we're going to say lock axes rotation. I think it's just lock all rotations. And this should mean that when we hit the ball, it doesn't spin anymore because it's physically locked. Also, I enabled things when like alerts when you. Oh, it makes a little noise. I didn't know that. When people like make donations and like little test ones, like little things float up. So that's cool. What am I doing? What am I doing? I completely sidetracked myself. I mean, it all looks the same. That's interesting that the game freezes when you move it. Okay. So what do we do? We just fixed it. So yeah, okay. Right. If we hit the ball up, we're going to see if it spins. That's what we were doing. It shouldn't because I've locked its rotation, which means that, as you can see, the ball just bounces off. Someone else has said that there's an issue where the ball will do that. It'll clip in and it'll bounce out. I don't know what causes this. Oh, you know what it'll be? It'll be friction. The ball is physically slowing down because it's moving that way. Whereas when it bounces off, it just bounces off. But because it's slowing down, so I think the way to fix this would be to say that I think they said they set friction to 0. The person that was they did it on my Discord, they were asking questions. But they said that setting the friction to 0 didn't work. But I don't think it's the ball you want the friction set to. It's the it's actually the walls. So if we find where we spawn our borders in. Spawn border, and it's these two borders, and we want to say friction and the coefficient of 0. I don't know what the default for that is, but we're going to go down here. I'm going to say do the same thing here. I'm going to say friction and coefficient 0. And we don't want the ball to have 0, but we want the ball to take maybe the minimum. Just so that it will take 0 when it hits those. So spawn the ball and we want the friction. So we want the ball's friction to be 1. Coefficient of friction is 1. So the ball has normal friction, but the coefficient combination rule is coefficient combination rule min. We could do multiply as well, but the multiply wouldn't do anything. So that means that the ball will have 1, but if it hits something with less, it'll be 0, which should mean that the ball doesn't get stuck. I think you have to set it on both, because otherwise you end up with issues. I don't know, we'll find out. Let's open up Discord. Gonna go over here. Go to my channel. I'm going to jump into one of the voice chats if anyone wants to come in. We'll just see what... Right. What are we doing? This apparently controlling my stream. Let me set that. Alright, so ready? We're going to go up. So we can still hit the ball up, and the ball should hopefully not get stuck. Because it should be bouncing off. Like, I suspect what's happening is it's clipping inside. Like kind of like that. Because there's friction applied, it's like it can clip inside the object slightly, and clipping inside as a sphere, it can get caught, and it causes interesting physics. Because I don't think it's doing it when it hits these walls anymore. Like, it doesn't slow down or lose any momentum when hitting the wall. But it is getting weird friction of these, where it's like it can be heading down, and I can hit it and just it starts going up. But it definitely doesn't seem to be getting stuck and stopping like it did. But it's the only way to really test that would be to hit it sort of diagonally. Like, we need a really slow, shallow angle, because that's when it tends to get stuck. So let's. I also feel like I should make the starting ball speed faster. So it still has weird issues where you can clip the ball with the right physics and it just sort of stops. But that may also be because the like, the way to do that, I guess, is we'll turn the ball's physics way down, like 0.1 maybe, so that it doesn't have enough physics to friction to actually stop the ball, because that's what's happening there. Is the ball is able to be stopped when it hits. So we need to find wherever we spawn ball. And we're going to say your coefficient is like 0.258. So a quarter of the friction, which means that hopefully it doesn't have enough energy that it can be stopped. It's a single one. It almost certainly always will be, in the sense that I can stop it because the only amount that I can impart into it going up, like the amount it gets imparted up is exactly the same amount as being up next time. But in theory, with 25%, what should end up happening now is if I say hit you while moving up, now it's moving straight because it's 50% or 25% cancelled out. So it's still going 0. And then this one, we move up. And then the other one, if we move, I guess it's down. It depends on which way it's traveling when it gets to this one. So if we hit it while traveling down, it should make it even faster, right? And then if we go over here and we wait for it to bounce back up and we hit it while it's traveling up, but we're traveling down, it should be traveling half again, but it's still going up. And that's because we absorbed only a fraction of the energy. So it works how I expect it to work, but not necessarily the best way for a game, because it does feel a bit clunky that it does that. Other people's suggestions have been like to apply a fixed constant speed to the ball so that when it hits one player, it always heads away to the other side, and when it hits that, it always heads away. Personally, I think leaving it up to physics engine is better, but if it is bugging out like that, it's not necessarily the best approach. Anyway, what were we doing? We were doing UI, that's right. So this is test. Test does what? Spawn view, set it right. Okay, so we can get rid of test because test is never used. And then this is all styling and whatnot. And down here it's saying XXX. No, it's XXXS. Okay. So what's next? So I guess the big thing to do is say like set up view root. So from what I understand of how it's designed, is you can have multiple roots. It's just that the root is like a specific element. So if I want to despawn all the UI, I despawn the root. So we say fn main underscore menu. We should probably set up game states as well. So let's add game states to have a true menu style. So what we need to do is somehow decipher how Bevy's state system works. So we'll go down here. I'm going to say state enum. We're going to just make it a struct because pretty sure the way this works is that I just want to be like playing, right? Like I guess running in running. So running. And then this somehow we have to be able to derive this, and that's what I've got to work out. So we're going to go to Bevy. Go to the Bevy engine, then we go to the news, bring it onto the main screen so everyone can see. We go to news, and we go state. Go down here, guys, it's in that sidebar. Computed and substates. Okay, so a computed state. So how do we make a computed state? So game state. Yeah, so we can replace computer state. We can so how do we okay, so input computer state for in game, and then its source is from game state. So from one or many. Okay. So now we define the rules. Rule that determines the value of the compounded state. Okay. Computer state. So it's more like we say in menu, and then maybe we should just say enum state. And then we say I think the computed state is supposed to work slightly different. So it's game state and then running. And also this is what I hate. It's just trying to come up with like the concept because I can't. My brain won't let me go ahead with the thing until I've worked out what I'm actually doing. So we're gonna running and then we're gonna have, I guess, paused and in menu. So this really should be one layer up because it's reaching too many different states. We need to say that the default is in default's this one. Default. So what we can do is we can take this and we'll put this up a level. So in menu, no, in main, we'll put this up here just until we work out what we're actually doing. So we want to initialize a state. So we want to add init state and then game state. Game state, right? And I think we want to say like impl. Maybe I don't know because the thing is saying like this: it's substates and states. Fucking so source in game equals in game. So we can say that in game comes from the game state, and the game state is menu. Okay. So what that's saying is we kind of want to leave you like that. Right. Because and then we go down here, I guess, and we go game. So we go to menu and we need to make a struct. So we need to go state. Struct. No, it was state, wasn't it? State. Right, like this, and then we go to this. We go. This is the problem with the stuff being out of date. Is that they don't have a version for these structs that don't have enum types because it wasn't a thing before Bevy 14. So the plugin's not up to date with that. I also keep seeing my loading screen appear, so I hope that I'm not constantly cutting out because not enough data's going through for the ultra low latency that I have set, so that it's only 10 seconds behind. So state, and then we want to say this is in menu, and then we want to import and derive. No, what was it called then? It was here import. Oh, computed state for in menu. So does that mean that menu doesn't need? No, it just needs to be clone equal hash. Okay. I think it doesn't also need debug, but anyway, debug hashed if it part is short of a clone. Okay, so in here we're going to say type source is game state, right? And then we're going to go compute, and then so does that mean that computed states go away? Like, does it remove? Is a computed state removed? Pause, not pause. To this end, we define the in-game computed state. So we return some in-game. So I'm assuming that it removes in-game entirely, or in menu in this case, if we return none. So we're going to say match source. I'm going to say in menu. So anything but in menu, you're not in a menu. So in menu returns some. In menu. Yep. menu. Otherwise return otherwise we return none. Right. So we computed state. Now the question is, how do we initialize computed states? I'm assuming down here we say like dot add compute state, and this is in menu. So my guess is this will say self main mute add computed state. Yeah. Warn if no state plugin installed. Okay. If self world contains resource state transition event at Okay, so I'm assuming that it checks and only adds the state in menu when the corresponding game state is met. Okay, and then we need to add that like computed state or whatever it was, or not substate. So we need to go enum, and then we say menu, and this is not state but sub state, and then this needs to derive like something. What was it? It was correct here. We need to say source. I don't know why equals it. Why is it this source? So in menu equals in menu, right? And then we say that the default is main, and then the alternative is pause. Okay, and then we go to initialize substate maybe. So up here we go add substate, and then we say menu. Okay. And we want to go add underscore systems on enter menu main, and then we want to say main menu, main underscore menu, like that. So this should run the main menu on enter. Right, it's on enter menu main. Right, so when we enter the main menu or the menu mode main, we run this, which is we're just going to say for now print line main menu. So then in here, I think we're going to say actually I think maybe it's this, and we're going to say we need this to be a enum state. And this is going to be a not this, and we're gonna have another computed one, but this one's going to be paused like this, because then we can say like we call paused, or we set paused, and then we can refer to that rather than having to check to see if it's in menu. So we say this is a struct, and then we go down here and we say impl computed state for paused, and then we say computed, and then it's match source, and then we say everything returns a none, and then game state in menu returns some paused. So if you're in a menu, you say you're paused, and then type source is equal to game state. Okay. So then we need to initialize the paused. So we need to say app dot init add compute state, and it was paused. Okay. So the main reason for doing this is now when we come to game here, we can say we want to say lock fn pause. Oh, she's going to take in a mute bodies. I'm going to go let the dog in so that he stops barking. I'll be right back. Okay, so our query for bodies is going to be a query for mute rigid body. I think we're going to also grab its entity, and then you're going to have a did I spell it wrong? Huh. Spell checks is pretty bizarre. Someone recommended it. Because my spelling is atrocious. And it is interesting how badly I spell sometimes. Anyway, so we need all the bodies. We need a hash. No, we need a resource. Maybe. This is the fun part. Maybe we'll make a component. And the component is going to be, I guess it could be, instead of an entity, we just keep, oh, yes, it's like component struct, and the struct is going to be unpause body, and this is just going to hold a reference to a rigid body, and this will make sense in a second. So we're going to say get this, and then an unpause body. We need a mutable reference to its unpause body. Actually, we don't even need that. We can just say oh, we do need its entity again. I just bouncing too many ideas in my head. So we're going to say commands. So we'll grab a reference to the commands and a reference to the body. So when we say pause, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through. We're going to say for body entity for entity and its body in mute bodies, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say if body equals rigid body fixed. We're just going to continue because we don't need to apply any kind of logic to pause something that's not actually moving. I guess it's if the body does not equal dynamic, we'll keep the, so basically only dynamics, and I guess in that case we don't really need this, but and then we're going to say commands.entity.insert, and then we're going to say unpause rigid body, and the unpause rigid body is going to get the body dot so it's just swap, no, replace, there we go. So we need to replace body with rigid body static, fixed. Right, so we're going to replace the body with fixed, right? Cannot immutable variable body. Okay. So maybe it's as mute then, body dot as mute, like that, and then we say so if the body's not dynamic, return. We need to make body mutable. It's can't be really okay. So what it does is basically we say if the rigid body is not fixed, isn't dynamic, so only dynamic body is going to be replaced. We're going to iterate through each dynamic body here and replace it with a fixed body so that all of our physics objects, so if we have more than one ball, that kind of thing, will stop moving. And that's the pausing logic. We're saving what the original body was, just in case like you want to replace kinematics. And then we're going to have fn unpause, and unpause is going to do the same thing, but we're going to iterate through this, and instead of doing this, we're going to say new unpause body. We still need entity and we still need commands because we need to get rid of the old unpause body. Well, technically we don't, because in theory you should never be able to pause and then unpause. But this is how you introduce bugs later down the road. Is somehow like re-pausing twice or unpausing twice. So we need to say we get our unpause and we also need our entity, like so, and then we say for so it's entity unpause and body in mute bodies. So we do that, and then we need to say that you are mute. Well, actually, you don't even need to be mute. We just need to copy you. So you don't even need to be mute. So you do that, and then we make you mute just by overriding you, and then we say body dereference body equals unpause.0, right? So we replace the original body back in, and then we say commands.entity.remove and remove unpause body. Like so. So what we do here is we say when we call unpause, grab anything that has an unpause, basically like an unpause flag, and grab its rigid body, and then stick the unpaused data back into the rigid body, and then remove the unpaused data. So the final step to make this work is we probably should add a test for system, but we're going to add underscore systems, no, not add schedules, add systems, and then the system is going to be on enter pause, and we just call pause, and then because this should in theory mean that we don't need to worry about like originally I was thinking we could nick the velocity like of the ball and then it would stop moving, like if we took everything's velocity and set it to 0. But that means, one, this wouldn't work in gravity situations because gravity would then start pulling everything down even when the game's paused. But also, two, it would mean that if you somehow managed to pause it while it was like contacting a paddle or like clipping through something, you'd 0 its velocity and then it would immediately gain velocity. So on exit pause. Not paddle, pause. And then we say unpause. Now, the issue is I want a computed set that's basically the reciprocal of paused, so that we only run things like moving the paddles when not paused. Can I do that? So resetting the ball and scoring should work. It should work even when we're paused. Spawn the score, that's all done regardless. It's only these three that we need to be like run condition, run if not in state paused. Oh. How did I do that? What did I do? Pause. Okay, only run those if not in state paused. Okay, so that means that move the paddle, detect reset, and hit the ball. Ball hit only work when the game is unpaused. And then post update reset ball and score can work irregardless, because it doesn't matter if the ball gets reset when you're paused, because it shouldn't be moving to be paused in the first place. Now we need to go back up to here and just say, well, I guess technically this should work, because immediately the first thing that happens is that we enter in menu, which should then run pause, which should mean that the ball shouldn't move when you start the game. And that just didn't work. Okay. Okay, I don't get that one. So it did say main menu, which means we are in fact entering the main menu. It's just got to be that maybe the ordering is wrong. So that doesn't make sense though, because they still should have run. Maybe it's because it's starting instead of it being on enter. I'm not sure why that happened. Well, here's actually the interesting thing, because the ball shouldn't be there. Yeah, see, the paddles aren't working, which means that we're just never running the pause code. Which, interestingly enough, we kind of want to say that the spawn everything only happens dot run. Oh no, it's still in startup. Okay. So we kind of want this to be in on enter. Game state. Game state running. So only on enter spawn everything. That should mean that there's just like nothing there except the main menu now. Right? And that should fix my issues, hopefully. Okay, so there's nothing there, and then we haven't added a closed menu, so we can't get to the game. So, should we commit this to Git just so that I don't absolutely break everything? To 0 to Pong. So we're going to say, it's doing something. So, added pause to game. So now the game can be paused. You just do that. The important step to adding menus is to be able to pause the game so that it doesn't like run when you're in the menus. So next is to spawn the main menu. So to spawn the main menu, we need to explore and expand the main menu thing here, which is going to be basically just a copy of this. So okay. Okay, so we just got distracted by a rabbit. We're spawning in the root. Yeah, so when we spawn the camera, we need to probably keep track of this, because, or we could just move this up here and say, I don't know if we want to despawn the camera every time. So we probably want to save that in a resource. So struct UI camera, which is going to be just an entity. So like so. So this is our UI camera, and then when we do this, we're going to say maybe we can spawn UI camera, which is going to take in commands. Commands, and then we're going to say we're going to do this, paste that there. Okay, and then we're going to say, wait, we don't need the camera because that's the button demo related thing. So this is again where I don't really know how this stuff works, so let's just not bother with that right now. When I spawn it in, like, when they say like commands, so we need access to the commands, but that's okay. Okay, so commands, and then we say commands adopt spawn, and then we need to give it something, which is going to be like a root node or something. So we say button demo, and then it has the camera, and then when we create callbacks, and then we create this, which needs to be okay. But where does it use camera? That question. Okay, new insert die. So they somehow insert target camera indicates that this root node entity should be redirected to a specific camera. UI then will be laid out the camera viewpoint and the scale factor. Okay, so this is just how it knows what camera to render it to, and is that the only thing you'd like? Just you don't use camera again, do you? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Right. So we need to say struct main menu, like not static, struct okay, struct main menu. And then we go here, and then we go import, and then it's view, I think, view template, view template for main menu, and then we say create. Alright, so I think if I remember correctly, create's called every time, and then your view is just import view. So view import view, like so. So that just means that I can return any type, and this is just going to say hi. I guess it's going to say main menu, like so. And then we say here, and we say spawn main menu. Wait, there's a bundle. How do you to root, but to let's go root like that. The main menu needs to have partial equal. So sure, par equal and equal. What else does it need? Just that. Okay, that must be no. It's just anymore. Okay. Exists for struct menu, but it's oh, it needs to be cloned. It can be clone and copy because it's just a okay. So what else are we missing? Setup. Actually, we're just going to ignore that now. So we're just going to say main menu, which means we don't need this anymore. Okay, so on entering main menu, we spawn the menu. So that didn't do anything. So this is one, no camera found. Right, because we still need to spawn the camera. Not entirely necessary, but somewhat necessary. So we'll disable this and we'll just still spawn the UI camera like we were doing. We'll say add plugin, no, add system. Spawn. So this is on startup, and it's the UI camera. Spawn UI camera. Like so, and then when we say run, the hope is that it'll spawn the camera and we'll be able to see. Alright, so it does say main menu up here in the corner. So next is to, I guess, like explore the further down code to like see how it actually defines like a menu thing. So the first thing it does is it defines its callback, which we don't really need to do because we're not doing buttons yet. And then it says an element node bundle, no, and then we set its style, and then we go children. So style here, which takes an S. That is very complicated. Apply a set of styles to the element. Okay. And then we want its children. So we need to say, like, the first thing our main menu does is say element new. So it needed to be a node bundle just because apparently that's something you have to specify. So with this node bundle element new dot style, and then I think we're gonna go import main menu, and we'll build a bunch of these inside here just to make it easier. The style test here, we're going to just copy this just so that we've got it laid out. And we're going to say the display is flex, and then the flex direction is going to be column, position is going to be position absolute, padding is 3, left, right, top, bottom. So I think we're going to say that I won't set left, right, top, and bottom. This is going to be main. So you're going to be flex, you're going to be this, and you're going to say, we're going to say your padding. Your padding is, what is margin, isn't it? Margin. Dot margin is UI rect horizontal auto. So that should center us, and then we should say row gap background color. Apparently color U2, whatever that means. Okay, and then we want to say something like the size dot width. We're going to say it's going to be like about %. Let's say it's always going to be 30% of the width, and the height will be val percent 75% of the height. Alright, and then we're going to say hit down here, we're going to say style and apply main menu main. Right, I think that's how that worked. Like you just passed it in the function that applied the styling. Yep, like that. And then we say down here we look. I'm pretty sure it calls children, and then you specify in the children what's next. What's the next layer down? So that means that if we run this, it should be a square in the middle that's about 30% of the screen by 75% of the height. Okay, yep. Now it's still positioned at the top, which I guess makes sense because we did kind of like say only the horizontal margin, but we actually kind of want to go margins all, don't we? So you go up here and we go main. We say all. Okay, so that'll position it all. So flex direction is column, flex position is U. Okay, so I think we want rows. I don't remember. Row. Flex direction row. So then we want to go something like dot children, and then looking at this children, and yeah, okay. So children is a tuple, and then it's a tuple of things that implement view. So first we want it to say main menu. Then we want it to say I guess down here, I'm going to say struct play, not static, struct play button. All right, and then we're going to import view template for play button. And then your view type. So the view is just going to import view because again, like it means that you don't have to worry about what the return type is until after like Rust will take care of it and applying. As long as you return something that implements view, it'll return view. So then we want to say if in create and then cx. No. How did this work? We just made sure we had to return a view, right? So we said we say element. Can we say button? How do we spawn a button? That's what we want to do. Icon button? No, we want just a button. So we do this, and then we say button. Move around all the corners. All right, button, and then on click, and then we need to give it a piece of code. Children, and then corners, and then we say don't return colon. Okay, so we haven't defined click get. This is just going to say play. Like so, and then click, I think we say cx dot callback, create callback, play. I guess I'm going to call it click. Like so. Well, okay, so it's more like let's click equal callback, and then we have to pass in the function like this. And we go, are you just creating into system? Okay, cool. So as long as the S, okay, so we should be able to say something like next state. Next. Okay. And then the next state being game state. And then that should... So we should be able to say next state equals dot set game state running. Okay, that seems to have worked, and then we call this, and then we do for this, and we say play button is never used, because what we do is we come up here and we say, you say main menu, and then you say play button, so comma play button. Okay, why does that not work? So why did it work down here? So you said this element node, and then children, new children. So this is just a button, but the button just implements view, right? Like that's all it's doing. Is it because do we have to do something to view template? Does can I just pass it the context? That worked, but I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to do that. Potentially you're supposed to say element this and then that. No, that doesn't seem right either. So icon button here, does that mean the icon button, if we just go here and have a look, it implements view, doesn't it? Like just implement, like, so it implements view template. When does it implement view? Like why do I have to call self-disabled, just let disabled equals self-disabled? So why can you call a button but then not my play button? Seems odd. I don't know why that works for them but not for me. I've only got view and create. Input view for VT. See? Ah, because it doesn't implement clone and partial equals. That'll be why. That'll be why. Derive clone and partial equals. So it has clone and partial equals for play button here, which means that I don't have to do that weird call to spawn. No, where was it? It was the spawn menu here. Then we just say play button like that. So that implements view for you because your clone part equals. And we can go play and see what it does. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Hey, look. And then it opens this. And then the ball's behind it. Now, we do need to make it despawn everything when it's done, but that's pretty cool. We do need to also flip the direction, so I think that's the flex direction rows, I guess, is what we do somewhere. Where is it? Is in our menu. In main here, in main menu here. So we need to say flex direction columns. So we had it right the first time. I guess I shouldn't have changed it. I was thinking for some reason that it was because they were flexing the other way, but yeah, it makes sense. Hey, look. And we can make it bigger. I know that, but again, that's messing with Flexbox and until the editor's updated, I kind of don't fuck with it. It's just a lot of work. That's next. So can we like dot align content center? That should, and then we like dot align justify content justify content space between. I don't know, something like that. Not necessarily the best approach. We kind of want the text to be bigger, but I don't know how to do that. Presumably there's some kind of formatting we could do. Like we could probably have like a title type that takes in text and then generates text. Big text. Alright. Didn't seem to work, but you know. Let's work on making it disappear when we're done rather than spending forever fucking around. Can I change your size so you spawn? Where do we spawn the button? Something like we play button down here, and we say create this, and we're going to say dot style, and then in main menu I think we should have like a style button like this. It's going to be the same. It's B SS meet style builder. Okay, and then let's just do all this, but we just like say like, is it like a U3? Yeah, we'll just go U3. So we want the width to be val percent 90% of the width, and then I don't know, dot height. Height should maybe just be auto. Like that. Maybe that'll. I feel like this is just going to stretch it, but that'll do. And come down here, and we go. We get main menu button, like so. And then we don't give it any parameters, like so, and that should let us modify the button pretty easily. I'm going to stop messing with the button because I don't feel like spending the rest of the stream trying to get things to look right, but. It should hopefully. Didn't really work. It did make it 90%, but so again, it's one of those. Got to get the Bevy editor working. Be bothered with any of that stuff. So about pausing and unpausing. So there's something you can do. I know there's something you can do to make like UI elements disappear or something. So when I said like to root returns what? It returns which apparently is a command. Okay, it's interesting. So I don't know how you would there's some kind of like scope that you can do. Like it was the new thing in Bevy. It was like a scope. State scope. Okay. We'll mark this into the bit. Okay. Okay. So it's a state scope. State scope. Okay. So is it like dot side effect? Right, like you said, add a generic purpose effect which can display entity. Yes, okay. So we want insert. Yeah, okay, bundle, and then so we want to say this is main menu, and we're spawning a main menu, and we're going to say state scoped, and then the state is scoped to menu main. So when we leave main, it should despawn because main's not cloned, but we can no okay, it's fine. Copy. What do you mean? What's your problem? The Bevy, the track. This state scope's just okay, and it just hop. I don't know if this will work. We can do a simple state scope. He is clone. Simple clone. For T clone self and self dot 0 dot clone. I mean, theoretically that should work, but oh, this cargo plane. No. have to clean it so that it recompiles with the little change that I made. The issue is it's going to take ages to rebuild. But the idea, fucking 16 gigabytes, boy, does Rust build some shit. Is it saying it can't do it because it's not clone? And I'm saying, hey, if the type implements clone, just implement clone. What does state require? No, but state requires it to implement clone. So it's always going to be, okay. Which means that you can just derive clone. You just kind of copy. Because state requires you to be clone, so why are you not also clone? Maybe it's just an oversight. Commands. Reader. Okay, hopefully my little tweak will work and we're not gonna be stuck multiply compiling shit. It should, because it's insert. It's just it doesn't like it because it inserts the bundle, and I think from what it said is create gets run like every time, which is just spectacular. One option would be to like just implement my own type a bundle that is just a bundle that adds bundles, but that seems really dumb. The world of streaming Rust, where we just wait for things to compile because I've tweaked something too far down. I should also add the like compile and release mode stuff here, but yeah, we'll work on something out for a second. Minecraft Clay. If anyone was watching the last stream, I tweaked in here so that I turned it into a function, gen direction, and then it generates the directions recursively like this. Yeah, so it generates the vertexes recursively in each of the directions rather than having to rewrite this horrendous piece of code multiple times. And then we can just iterate through all the directions and do that. So that was fun. Sort of, I think the code's been pushed to GitHub. Doesn't really change much because there's some bug somewhere in there that I fucking for the life of me can't track down. That means that for some reason, I think it's to do with the fact that I'm iterating through like each block, like here. So maybe it's I iterate through each block somewhere. It's here, right? So I'm iterating through each block and then going through each block and checking each direction, which means that for some reason it just never finds faces that connect unless like I think it's like the face sequence has to start at the top block, otherwise it doesn't work. Now, will it compile while the other thing's compiling? Maybe. Should. Actually probably add menu back to this after this, because the big thing that stopped me from adding it back is I need to update Belly. Anyway, so we'll just go into Minecraft load and we'll just fly over here. Let's just show off some code while we wait for stuff to compile. So if I do this, like, see, they're still separate, but they should be fused into one because they are part of the same block. And if we do that, it's the same. But the top, maybe not. The top block was working. See, that becomes one. So for some reason, the top works. And that's how I know that they're in the same chunk. Like the top works and becomes a 4, but this one became 2, so maybe that's a chunk boundary really. That might be why that's not doing it. But you'll notice if I do this, it doesn't become 4, it becomes 2 2s. And, sorry for the noise in the background. And this is a 4, and then there's a 1, and then when I put this here, it becomes a 6, right? Like that works. But this is just like that. But it doesn't matter what I do. Like if I place that there, that there, and in theory, like doing that. Maybe if I find a different chunk boundary, where's the floor of a chunk? So that's the bottom of the chunk. So that means that like if I do it here, well, outside of the fact that apparently the chunk just vanishes, it's working there. It's working there, but like it doesn't do it. So we need to go up like 16 blocks. I also noticed that Pong's open in the background. I'm just so distracted with what I'm doing. Ah, I'm stuck. Help. Freedom. No, we're trapped. Alright. Oh, that was fun while it lasted. Play. Why did that not work? Why? The fact that it compiled is actually the more impressive part of that, because I just tweaked some code in the background. That's the question. Because like it means it must have compiled because this isn't complaining anymore. So we insert state scoped, which means that when we exit the, it's scoped to that, but we could say scoped to in menu. That would not make much sense because in theory, like in menu and in main menu should be the same thing. But it could be that the in scope doesn't work when the type's removed. It's still here. Why are you not being deleted? Unless it only removes it partially, or do we have to? We need game state and then enable state scoped entities. Ah, yes. Okay, so menu. It's obviously got some kind of thing to stop it from checking every state every time. So we need to go up here and be like, where is our plugin? Here. So we need to be like app enable state scoped entities menu. Alright. I figured there'd be some kind of thing like that, but I didn't. I would have thought it'd be on by default for everything. Who knows? Okay. So we'll just ignore the little tangent into Minecraft while we were thinking, so we could play, and then it crashes. Like, not what I was expecting, but I mean, it's progress in the right direction because it means that it did something differently. So is hover, so thread panicked does not exist. Yeah. Okay. So who crashed it? Quill. Okay. Okay. So it does not like the idea of me removing it. So maybe I should go to the Quill thing and maybe they have a way of removing. How would I despawn something? Examples. Complex one. Like, how do I remove nested? Like, it's all about creating UI, but how do I remove UI? Do you have, like, in your README some kind of way of... but how do I get rid of... Create? Yeah, create. But is there a destroy? Yeah, and we style it and more examples. There's conditions and for each loops and mutable local states and hook methods, context objects, element from styling. But how do I despawn something? Because that's kind of the issue, is that it's is it an issue? Maybe I should open an issue because it does seem odd that when I try to despawn the stuff, it disappears. So not the best thing. I'm not sure. Because if it didn't crash, like I would just leave it because it's like even if it's just throwing a bunch of errors, but it specifically says like, hey, hover. So use is hover from here. So so that's a big, like, how would I go about despawning it? Like with Belly, I kind of worked it out because you could just like, you had to get the entity source, but this spawns in the most. Let's see if we can get the Bevy editor working, because it might be really obvious that there's some kind of thing or resource or something. So Bevy editor, please. Let me go, hello, have you been updated yet? 4 months last year through. So the answer is no. We go to this person's page and we go, let's tell you somewhere the Bevy editor, please. Somewhere. Repositories. Bevy editor, please. So this one's updated 2 weeks ago. So this is branches main 0.4. Oh, copied. So we go here and we go. This was added 2 weeks ago, last year, 2 weeks ago. So we copy this. We go back to here, and go back to here, and we say, Bevy editor with, and it equals git. Okay, put that git in, and then that will hopefully work. That when we go to main here and we say use Bevy edit, please dot editor plugin, I think that's what it's called. And then we say when we add the default plugins, so we don't really go here and be like config debugger session app.insert add plugin edit default, and then we say run and we go wait for the Rust analyzer to finish. God damn it. So I told me I couldn't get so tired watching talking to all these streams. How do I get you to stop? I need to get you to temporarily pause, stop, and then restart. Yeah, it just needs to stop long enough to let this catch up. Like as soon as it snags the workplace and locks it, the Rust server can start again. It'll just wait for this to finish compiling. Oh. Now I'm going to entertain myself again while I wait for things to compile. So I'm going to try my new emojis out. If you look in chat, you can see the new emojis that I've unlocked because I enabled YouTube membership. So now there's cool little emojis that people can get access to if they become a member. I think that's about it you get, like, unless I make something multiplayer, in which case pretty sure I said one of my perks is that you get to play multiplayer with me whenever I make anything multiplayer. So Minecraft clone, when that finally eventually, if it ever gets multiplayer, we can just jump back onto that though, just to do some more like demonstrating what the hell's wrong. Maybe someone can fix it because they know what they're doing, unlike me. So we'll go to the top of this hill. I do like that you can fly because the spacebar never checks to see if you're on the ground before it applies your upward momentum. So, okay. So at a certain point, a new green box will appear. And that implies that we're at the top of the world. Well, not the top of the world, the top of the chunk, and then we can have a look to see if the code works. Like, I suspect it'll work from the bottom of a chunk upwards, but it won't work like if you start partway through a chunk. There we go. That's got to be it. Yeah. So now it's spinning. So we're just gonna go down here and go like clear that away. I also have no idea what buttons do in this game. I just click the buttons and eventually it works. Okay. So I just want to go. So it's not working on that side. It's not working. It is working there, but that's only because it's only one thick. One. Okay. But yeah, it's still not working. I have no idea why it doesn't, because it should fill that in because it's a single square. But it doesn't. It only ever seems to work on the top face. I've gone through the code, like fucking fine-tooth code, and trying to work out what it is, and I'm like, what I don't get is the top face shouldn't work if the other faces don't. That's the thing that throws me off the most, is that the top face works. Now, it could be because the top face is, when the way we're iterating through, the top face is the only one that actually gets iterated through correctly, in terms of like all the others get other bits checked first. Like, similar to the fact that it finds this one, and then this one, instead of this one and this one. It could be an order of operations thing. Is this finished compiling yet? That's not what I would do this. You done yet? Didn't work, that's why. What are you saying? 0 to Pong due to one previously emitted error. Why are you saying that the editor plugin doesn't work? Are you saying if I pop over here and then pop down to here, is this the wrong version of Bevy? It is. I thought that was supposed to be. What are you bugging me? I thought this was updated to 0.14. Nope, nope. We're gonna go to crates. Oh, because we need to change the branch, don't we? Because I'm assuming if we go crates here, so yeah, 0.14. So that means we need to go down, go back into our thing, and then we need to go branch equals 0.14. Is that what the branch was called, or is the branch called like Bevy 0.14? Probably Bevy 0.14. Yeah, it is. It's Bevy -0.14. Okay, and then that should compile and run. So we just do that, run. We were playing the Minecraft. Yeah. So as I was saying, I have no idea why this isn't working. I don't know how, when I've swapped to the Minecraft clone, I've got like 8 viewers, and I guess it's probably more interesting than the code to actually see a game. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense to me that this face works, but the other faces only seem to work in the up-down direction. Like, that works, and on this side, this works, that works, but it never seems to find the sideways. Now, on this particular one, it makes sense it doesn't find the sideways, because it technically would find this one and then go up that way, and then when it goes here, it's already found this one, so it does this one and then that one. But if I fill this in, also, don't mind that everything disappears. If I fill this in, it should find this one and then go that way, but it doesn't. It instead finds this one. But even if it did find this one, it should then go that way. So like it should fill that entire face in. But it seems like it's not finding it for some reason. It's like it's finding this and then going up because it's only found one. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's very buggy. Because yeah, it doesn't make sense, because this is correct. And if we go to the actual code itself, over the Minecraft clone, the actual code itself, chunk. is identical because I turned it into a function, but it doesn't. Like the only things I've done is to turn it into a function, I had to like specify on the direction, like the different iterators, because otherwise it doesn't work because the iterators are specific to the direction. Hey, that's good. So on our direction, like I've got an iterator, the collider, that says like, it'd be really funny if this is the issue, because it's saying the up and down iterates through the z direction and all the others iterate through the y. But then on all the others I've said like you iterate through. So I mean that could be the problem, is that it iterates through the y on the others, but that would mean that if only one of them was broken, that would make sense. But this one's dot y, hence the len iterator is 0. Z on the up and down, but y on everything else. So I really have no idea. Look here. Right, because we never specified it a camera, it's pointing at the wrong thing. Anyway, when I click... I can't click play because it's going to despawn. God damn it. So we spawn all this, but is there a resource? Wireframe, time, virtual, real, fixed, nothing, player settings, selection settings plugin, raycast background, so ambient light, cop, debug, yes. Gizmo, global volume. Yeah, so like there's nothing here that to me screams use this to remove things. And I don't see anything over here. Like maybe if we one of these, this one, this visible, picking interaction node, name, inheritable visibility, global gizmo target focus view path, children, border, background, border color, nice red border. I don't think I can because I think the other thing's controlling it. Maybe opacity. It seemed to let me. Pixels. Give it a top border of like 10. Yep, clicked off. Oh, it's not doing anything. Background color. Yeah, so that's what we're working on. So there's nothing attached to this. So we get background color, border radius, children, enable pass through, gizmo target, gizmo transform, global transform, inherited visibility, name. Yep. Go away. Stop. Node. So there's no way to remove it, and it crashes if you do. So I'm gonna say that this is a bug and that we should probably report to them. I feel like I should report it because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Like, not saying that I'm doing the best approach, but the game shouldn't crash because you despawn party AUI. So I'm gonna say like new issue. Bevy, no, it's obsidian. So, oh, that was loud in the background. What was it? Obsidian. That's not the right thing. Here. Just copy so we don't look stupid by spelling stuff wrong. We go will crash if you use scoped state scope to remove UI when state changes. Now we get to have the boring stream of me reporting a bug that I think is a bug. I don't know. I was trying to use state scope to despawn my UI when the state changes, but this results in a crash. Tries to access the entity for a hover check after it has despawned. What is the correct way to remove UI if not? Should crash if despawn part of the wait, there. Okay, let's just submit the issue. What is next? The issue with this is we kind of hit a roadblock because we can make a really pretty UI, but we can't get rid of it. I mean, the option is to hide it. This is great. We can hide the UI. The issue with that is we really don't want to despawn it. Like, can I say, like, is disabled a thing that insert dyn? What does dyn do? No, we don't want that. Dot. So I don't think there's a way to disable. And the big issue with that is that means we can't have to spawn all the UI straight away. We could, you know, insert visibility, visibility. And what do we do to put it? Right, so visibility works like this. Hidden. We could always start it hidden. And then instead of saying run this on menu enter, we could that's hidden. And then we say main menu. We just say this is run on startup. Right, we start it hidden and then we say fn show main this menu. Oh, no, because we have to flag everything. Oh god, it gets all hideous pretty quickly. That's why I was looking forward to being able to just spawn it and then despawn it when I was done. So menu. If we need a query, we need to go. We need to access menu. Show hide menu. So the way the show hide menu is going to work, I think, is we'll iterate through the menu, and we need to access its compute visibility. Mute. Visibility, right, like this, and then we're gonna say state. Ooh, this is gonna be hard. No, we can say res state. Right, if we say state and then we say menu, I do like reusing types like this. This is like a really nice thing about both how Bevy works and how Rust works. Is I can say menu and I can say hey menu is simultaneously a state and also a flag to mark things. We do need to find menu and say that it's a flag that can mark things. Wherever I fucking put that. Where is it? Menu. Menu is a submenu. So the default hash. So it needs to be a component as well. Like this. A component. So now it's a component and it's a subset. So that means that what we can do is we can come down here and we can say we run menu and then we say for menu menu god brain menu viz is mute viz not vid viz in mute menu menus like so mute menus. So we iterate through all of our menus like this, and then we say if menu equals state viz equals visibility visible else viz equals visibility hidden visibility hidden do that nice. We can't compare that. Okay, do reference that. We say, wait, what? We can't compare menu with state period state. No, dot get. Okay. Right, get. So can we just say that are you two equal? Like so. Right, and so we're going to say show HUD menu, and show HUD menu is going to run. So we're going to say add systems. This is going to be on an update, I think, and then we're going to say show hide menu, and it's going to run dot run if in state, and it's run if state exists so state exists menu like that, so it'll only run if the menu is there. And then I think we should just put the check here. I was going to also check to see if it had changed in the top thing, but it just seems like it's a bit complicated at this point. So we're going to say state dot if state dot is changed. If it hasn't changed, you return it. So this isn't the most efficient way to do it, because in theory it's actually better to run it on the main thread and check whether the state's changed before we run any, like before we spin up the task and start everything. But we'll just, for now, you know. This should result in the menu being hidden at first, but immediately opening, because we're going to, you know, change our game state.
Away.
Nope, it stays fucking hidden.
No.
So if we say visible,
No.
it's, we hit play, it's still visible, which is wrong because they're, oh, because it doesn't exist. Right. Right. So what does that? That means we need to, even if it doesn't exist, this just needs to run all the time. It just needs to be, I guess, our job to check to see if it's exists. So we say option. Okay, so we say, okay, so we say here, we say wait, let me say, okay, your viz equals if let sum state equals state, like that. So the first thing we check is if the state exists. Else we are going to return visibility hidden. So basically, if we're not in a menu, all menus will be hidden, and then we say state if state dot get equals menu, we will say visibility visible. Well, I guess it's inherited, isn't it? Inherited. So we either inherited, else we can still visibility hidden. All right, so that, and then we can also say if let sum state equals state, and so then we say state if state dot is changed return, and we just make that not okay. So just so if the state exists and it's not isn't changed, we return. Otherwise, if this and we do that because we can't use that to move. Okay, so that should hopefully. The issue is we kind of need to make sure that all our menus are visible before we disable. Like menus may need to be visible so that when it loads, it disables them. Because at the moment, I'm starting them invisible, but it's never coming back. It's still here as well. That's annoying because it's. Why is it not getting set back to hidden? Like, I can't even see the state. That's really annoying because it doesn't seem to be working. The other question is, what are all these entities? Oh, they're colliders. Why are you not working? Alright, well, apparently I'm not going to get any more quiet, so I think I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you all for tuning in. And I will see you